Greetings, family. Joyous rising. Happy Tuesday. I'm so glad to be back. Family, I'm glad to see you all. This is Tuesday, March the 21st, 2023, and the time is 3:15 p.m. I do have some RV news for all my RV people, some Iraqi Dinar news or chatter, or should I say gossip, some alleged information. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be back, family. I was censored from YouTube for 2 weeks, a total of 14 days, and I wasn't even sure if I could upload today. So I could not upload, I could not stream live. It was even hard to comment. I could not even put up a meme, a picture, nothing on YouTube for 2 weeks because I reported on what number 45 said at CPAC when he said, I will totally obliterate, you all know, the DS, the people who were in power. So what they did was they let me play that video. They allowed me to go live. And then days later, I was censored and I received another strike. So I still have to give thanks to the Most High because I got a second strike and it was supposed to be my third strike, but they removed a strike that I had before and gave me a second strike, which should have been my third strike. So, they could have totally taken down my channel. And so I'm grateful that at least I still have a channel. But that leads me to telling you all to please go to Rumble and subscribe to my Rumble channel. It is in the description section. You can just go to rumble.com and type in Dr. Kia Pruitt, or I will put that into the description. You couldn't find me on Rumble. You know why? Because for some reason it's not rumble.com/Kia Pruitt. Let me show you what it looks like. They've got these weird letters behind my name on Rumble. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. But I went to rumble.com and just put in the search engine Dr. Kia Pruitt, and you can find me there. Let me let you see what my channel looks like. This is my channel here. Let me go ahead and copy and paste this code or the link and put it for you here in the chat. This, for some reason, I don't know why my my Rumble channel looks a little different. This is rumble.com and I have this code here, or you can just go to rumble.com and type in Dr. Kia Pruitt in the search place right here. And what you'll see is me, my little fancy picture, trying to be cute, trying to show off my pheromones. Did you know that when you pose as a lady, maybe men too, you actually, or you're speaking to people and you do your head like this, you release pheromones. So these are like little secrets that women used to know, ladies would know back in the day. When you bow your head like this, you're releasing pheromones. When you flip your wrist like this and you're talking to somebody, you're releasing pheromones. And so it's a way to send signals to men that, yes, I'm a lady, I'm available, or I'm just, I'm being fancy. You could have a whiff of my pheromones. But this is my Rumble channel. Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you. It's so good to see you. You subscribe. Thank you, Child of Light. Child of Lights. Strike a pose. Yes. Show off those pheromones. Thank you. I am so, so happy to be back. I've missed you all. And so many of you emailed me, called me, sent me messages, text me, found my other social media platforms. And I'm so, so very happy. I'm so very happy and grateful for all of you who checked on me. Thank you so much. I love you so, so much. And a lot of you went to Mark Z's channel as well. And you told Mark Z you couldn't find me. And so he called me. Isn't that so kind of him? Most of you over here follow Mark Z, but please go to Mark Z's channel, the original Mark Z. I'll see if I can find that for you. And subscribe to his channel. I hope you can still see me while I look for his channel. Let me see. Because Mark Z, because you all called me, you talked to him or called him or went to his channel and told him that you could not find me. He called me. He called me while on a live and had me on the phone with you all. Let me see if I can find him. And you all talked to me and chatted with me briefly on Mark's channel. So let me go to his channel right now so you all can see where to go to follow him. I thought that was so beautiful and so amazing. Thank you. You're welcome. I missed you all too. I thought that was so amazing that Mark thought enough of me to actually call me on the telephone, because he does have my number, and say, hello, our soul family is missing you. Where are you? And he gave me some wonderful ideas about how to save my channel. So I'm going to do that. I haven't finished doing everything he told me to do. For those of you who don't know Mark Z, he provides a lot of intel about the Iraqi dinar, the revaluation of currencies, the global currency reset, and he reports on geopolitical news, which is something that I do as well. So please subscribe to his channel. He's on, I believe, around 10 or 11 in the morning, and then he does wine and whiskey. I think that's the name of his channel for the evening. So it's the original Mark Z. He's on YouTube. Please follow him. He's been very good to me. He's had me on the show, and he's called me when you all were concerned about me and actually put me on live on his live podcast. And he doesn't have to do that. And you all don't have to check on me. So thank you so very much. You were watching. Yeah, I got the boot. I got the boot from YouTube. Speaking of which, this morning, I did a live show, and I didn't know if I was live or up and running back on YouTube or not, but I just took a chance and I streamed from Twitter, Rumble, both of my Facebook accounts, which are Dr. Kia Pruitt, and from YouTube to see if it would work, and it would. So today was the first day I was released, and I had Mother Susan Price, the Gold Star Mother, on my channel to talk about, people are calling, to talk about health products. So if you are interested, it's called, I think the name of the company is Curativa Bay. I put that in the description section. I might have Whiskey and Wisdom is the name of Mark C's show. Thank you in the evenings. I appreciate that, Sister Charlotte. I might have to take that video down. I'm going to look at it because we were talking about the sickness that shut down the world and how the nasal spray and some of the other products could help to neutralize some of those things that went into our bodies if you got the cure or if you were just exposed to certain illnesses. So YouTube is kind of sensitive right now, and I might decide to take that video down. But that's why I'm redirecting everybody to my Rumble channel, because I do like Rumble. The thing about Rumble is it's not as much traffic, so I miss that, and I miss you all when I'm over there. But I had a woman there who is a seer, Sister Tess is her name, and she was able, during one of the podcasts where Mother Price and I were talking, to connect to her son, Mother Price's son, who was a fallen Marine soldier who was killed by nefarious factions of our military while he was on a secret mission. Sister Tess was able to channel him and actually give her messages from her son, Aaron Kennefick. And it was so powerful and so moving, even for people who didn't believe in that, where we could feel a presence and people were weeping on the live. It was amazing because some people even saw his orb. They felt his presence. The message that Tess channeled from Aaron Kennefick, the fallen soldier, to his mom, Mother Susan Price, was so moving and powerful. Then I started getting phone calls and texts, and people started seeing visions of him, and he started like visiting people in dreams. So it was amazing. And what we surmised was because that channel maybe doesn't have as much traffic, Sister Tess was able to get a clearer message than being on the YouTube channel. So we have a lot of beautiful things that go on over here because we're spiritual beings having a so-called human experience. So I love you all so very much. And I appreciate you all for all the love that you share and give to me, and all of the kindness and even the monetary blessings, because YouTube is a source of income. I don't charge anybody for any services. I've never asked people, to pay me for intel or to pay me for coaching or counseling ever. As a matter of fact, I've been a life coach I went through certification in 2010. Since 2010, I have never charged anybody for any life coaching ever. I have never charged anybody as a certified credit repair specialist for credit repair services ever. And so the creator is blessing me through YouTube monetizations. And that's why when they censor me, it's a little challenging, but God still takes care of me. You all also have given me cash apps, and I thank you so much. Also, I want to encourage you, if the deep state ever does something to you, like tell you can't get your unemployment or you won't be able to get your money back from the IRS, be steadfast and courageous. I fought against unemployment for over 2 years because during the shutdown, didn't want to pay me. They paid me some, but then while the teachers still weren't going back to work and our schools were closed, they refused to pay me. And not only did they refuse to pay me unemployment or PUI, pandemic unemployment benefits, insurance, but they told me that they overpaid me. So I appealed the process, and I appealed for 2 years. Every time they said, nope, we're not giving you that money, I appealed. I wrote a letter, be steadfast and be courageous. I even asked them, are you trying not to pay me? Because the government should have given you money to pay people. So why are you not giving me the money that you were supposed to give me? And they said to me that they didn't have to because I was a teacher and there was reasonable cause for me to, reasonable thoughts that I might or should be able to go back to work, reasonable justification that I should be able to go to work. And I asked them, how am I to work during a global shutdown when the whole world is closed and my school was closed? I sent them clips, articles of Jefferson County Public Schools and how it was shut down. I sent them letters. I just continued back to back to appeal. So then they had the school system to bring a representative to testify about why I should not get my money, right? So thank you. Hi, Sister Michelle. Oh, yeah, keep fighting. So they had two representatives and their advocate attorney to talk about how, because according to this statute and code, I shouldn't get money. So I said, were these statutes and codes written before the shutdown or after the shutdown to justify why I should not be paid? And of course, they spun it to, this is statutes and codes. I even went so far as said, all of this is illegitimate. The powers that be actually created this shutdown. Now you don't want to pay people money, but I'm that woman who will fight you to the very end. And they kept saying, well, you should have gone back to work because we had some online classes. And so my retort was, but you had some online classes. You didn't have all these vacancies that could be filled, even because teachers went back to work. Substitute teachers did not have access to all those online jobs, and the school itself was closed down. We went back to back. Then the unemployment office in Kentucky sent me a letter saying, you know what, we made a mistake. The school system cannot be an appellee during a pandemic or for when it comes to pandemic unemployment insurance. They can only show up to an appeal if it weren't a pandemic unemployment claim. So then I wrote a letter and I said, so since you broke the law and allowed them to show up and tell me why they can't pay me, then I need my claim to be heard by another judge. And they sent me another letter saying, well, we still think that you could have worked. And I sent another letter saying, no, I could not because the schools were closed. And I kept saying, I'm that one. I am that one. I don't care if it tires me out. The sword, what they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. And I kept on for over 2 years until, and you know what else I did? I would call, they wouldn't answer the phone. So I would go online, I would send email, I would send letters, I would CC this mayor, the governor, the president, everybody. And then I went online and I kept applying for an appointment, on the telephone appointment, because they didn't want to see people in person. Okay, I'll do a telephone appointment and an appeal. And I continued back to back for years. They told me I owed them 5,700 and something dollars of the more than 10,000 that they owed me because they overpaid me. And so I made arrangements to pay them because I didn't want them to mess up my credit. And I paid the minimum amount every month, but I kept fighting. I just continued to fight. And I just learned this from my mother you have to be your own advocate. She taught me this as a young child. You have to advocate for yourself and do not back down. Finally, after many, many years, many appeals, many discussions, them having lawyers to argue with me, them having the school system to argue with me, their advocates, their best people. I mean, they've gotten nasty with me. Like she was just being lazy. She should have gone to work. This is JCPS, the Jefferson County Public Schools, and their representative. She could have worked. And of course, they had to put the sister on there to get indignant with me. I just was professional and kind and stood on my square. And then after several years, finally was able to talk to somebody else from their unemployment office and had him to look through all the records. And this just happened the other day. And this is how I know things are working for our benefit, where we have moved into a new era now. And I talked to the person. He said, "Oh my God, you've been through a lot. You've been forced to overpay when we should have been paying you." I said, "Yeah." And they wouldn't even allow me to do an overpayment waiver form. They have the overpayment waiver form on the website, wouldn't let me get access to it. I begged them to let me have it, and they wouldn't give it to me. And I said, they've given me a hard time for several years. This is over 2 years, almost 3 years. And so he looked into it and he said, "You've been through a lot. You've been through several appeals. You've written many letters. I see, you made several appointments. I'm going to have to look into this now. We're going to have another group of people to look at this. I don't know who these separate eyes are that looked at it. But madam, my apologies. We will pay you your claim." So my encouragement to you, soul family, is be steadfast. If somebody owes you something, write the letter, appeal. If they say we're not going to answer your appeal again, appeal to somebody else, appeal to the higher court, the highest courts, until you get justice. Because the pen is mightier than the sword. And there's always a ram in the bush. There is always a remedy. Even if you have something on your credit report that is showing up as a collection or a judgment or even bankruptcy, they can be erased off of your credit report. I learned this as a credit repair specialist, that you can write a 609 letter. Now, I don't do this anymore. I don't do credit repair anymore. It's not something I enjoy doing. I never charged anybody for it, but I did it. I do have letters that I can send. And I did it to help people so they can get things off their record and get homes and cars and all this. We shouldn't have to go through this, but a 609 letter basically states that unless you can prove that this account belongs to me with my wet ink signature contract, unless you can prove that, you must remove it from my credit report. Unless you can prove that you have to show me the contract. Now, let me tell you what happens is a lot of these companies with whom you do so-called business, they may or may not have a contract. I don't know, but they get paid, right? They access your trust and they pay themselves off, and then they make you pay them. So they're already paid. Then they sell your records to a collection agency. They don't even have the contract, the wet ink signature contract, if one exists. So they sell your report and your item or whatever that is to the collection agency. And so the collection agency doesn't have it. And neither does the credit bureau, neither does TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. Experian, whatever they call it, Experian. They don't have that wet ink signature contract. So you write a letter, you can write it however you want. Dear TransUnion, I have all the addresses to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian for you all. Dear so-and-so, I see on this credit report that you say that I have an account in collections for the amount of $5,000. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, section, I think it's 609, and I'll get that exactly for you. Unless you can prove that this item belongs to me, or this account belongs to me with the contract and my wet ink signature. You must remove it from my credit report. This being on my credit report has significantly damaged me or harmed me or preventing me from being able to get credit. This is unverifiable. However you have to say it, remove it from my credit report. Then state down what account that is, account number. Sometimes they'll blot out the first few numbers, XXX3059, something like that, for the amount of $5,800 or whatever, and from collection agency CCAB or something like that. This is the account. Remove it from my credit report. Now, the way they taught us to do it was to have that letter notarized, which some banks would do it for. If you bank at a bank, they'll do it for free, or you can find a notary in your community and notarize it. As a credit repair specialist, I would send maybe a copy of their driver's license, for my client's driver's license, whoever owned this alleged account, and a copy of the Social Security card. Now, some people don't feel comfortable doing that because they're saying, well, now they have my information. But this is what I did, and it worked, because there's always a remedy. There's always a ram in the bush. You have to know the loopholes, stand on your square, and be steadfast, courageous, and do it. I don't care if you did rack up the debt. I don't care if it did go in collections and you never paid it. If you pay it, it's still going to be a collection on your account. But the law permits, the Fair Credit Reporting Act permits for you to have that loophole, to have it removed from your credit report. Okay, if they cannot provide the contract, the original contract with your wet ink signature. So I don't know why I got off on that. Also, some collection agencies are not even lawfully collecting in your state. So you can look it up and see if they're lawfully collecting in your state. And if they're not, they have to remove it. So there are certain things that we can do while we're navigating this system. They severely damaged me by not giving me unemployment during that period, because I was working. I had excellent credit, and I had just bought a car. When they did that, then I couldn't afford my rent. I couldn't pay my car note. The car got repossessed. My credit report suffered because I didn't have any income. Like most of you, during the shutdown, we had nothing if you couldn't work. And this is one of the reasons why I had actually started my channel years ago, like in 2014. But my sons, especially the one who went to school for economics, said, Mom, you keep giving away free information. Since you don't like charging people, then monetize your channel. You've been doing this for years. All of their lives, I've been helping people, creating programs, starting counseling programs, helping people get out of debt, starting ministries, doing outreach ministries, having street fairs for my community, health fairs, teaching people how to get wellness checks, helping people go to different coaching and counseling sessions, providing the counseling sessions. I had 13 ministries underneath the realm of my charge for years, teaching pastors how to grow their churches. And I have never charged anybody anything for that service. But God kept me. My children, when I was too sick to work, provided for me. And they told me it's time for you to get off your job, because I had a lot of psychological trauma in my young life, and then trying to raise the family, work, go to school, have all these ministries, help all these people. At some point, it became to be too much. So this was years ago. My son said, look, Mom, you raised us. We've been helping to pay bills since we were like 10, because their father was an excellent musician and he taught them how to play instruments, all my sons and my daughter. And so my sons have been ministers of music, and they play instruments for churches all their lives. So they were like, now we're men, and they were like 18, 19. I have my three oldest sons, we have 8 altogether, but the 3 oldest, 18, 19, 20, now they're in their 30s, but they took me off my job. And they said, you've been good to us. You've been good to the community. You've served God. Now it's our time to take care of you. And so they took me off my job, and they've been taking care of me. They had been taking care of me for a long time. And then when I was able, I got back to work and started teaching, substitute teaching, because I didn't want to jump right in and just, go back into working for the medical school or doing any hard work, just teaching when I felt like it. But I still chose the what do they call it? The areas that had the most challenges. And I worked in the high schools where, the guys had ankle bracelets because they had been in jail, and the girls had been through, detention centers, because I wanted to leave an impact. So my point is, God has always taken care of me. And I thank you all so much for being a part of my soul family to take care of me. Having said that, there are times we need to depend on unemployment. We need our income tax returns back. And so write letters. If you can't pay what you owe the IRS, write a letter and ask them to forgive the debt. I told people to do this years ago, and they were like, I can't do that. They're not going to forgive me. I said, you won't know if you don't ask. So some of them actually did that, and they forgave the debt. If they don't forgive the debt, ask for an extension. If they don't give an extension and they hold their money, do what I told my son to do 2 years ago. I said, write a letter to the IRS and tell them that you just came out of a global pandemic and they are holding your funds and you're not able to pay your bills. They withheld like $10,000 and said he owes student loans. I said, no, you write that letter and tell them that's your money and you want it now. He did it, and they gave it back to him. Again, my point is, stand up for what is rightfully yours. Be encouraged, inspired, and what's the word I want to say? Strengthened, and know that you can and will get what justly and rightfully belongs to you. So again, I fought unemployment for many years. They said they overpaid me because they said they were paying other people in the summer, but we know teachers typically don't work in the summer. So I said, okay, you overpaid me, whatever, take that out. You didn't pay me, but just whatever you would not have normally, I would not have normally made during the summer, take the summer portion out. And so I didn't get a whole lot back, but they said, we're not going to pay you for the summer. We're not going to pay you for any breaks. If schools were in session during the pandemic, these are the days you would have been off. So we're not going to pay you any of that. But still, they gave me something. So I give honor to the Most High. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this testimony, because some of you are still fighting for your unemployment, for your stimulus checks, for your income tax returns. Fight them, write the letters, get it notarized if you have to. When I was going through the unemployment process, the appeals process, I didn't get those notarized. But when I got collections removed from my credit report, yes, I did get those letters notarized. You can do it. It is lawful. They always provide a way out and an avenue. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. There are people that actually know the loopholes. They know the laws, the statutes, and the codes to get around the entrapment that the system sets for us. And so they just walk around those. So again, thank you so much. Wow, they owe somebody $12,000. Oh, they tried to make you pay them $12,000. It's so annoying. It's so stressful. However, there are certain things we will not do. We're never paying taxes again. This is probably why the IRS has asked people in 22 states, millions of Americans, not to pay taxes because their time is up. The system is crashing. You all know, since I've been away, banks are collapsing. And since the banks have been collapsing, people have been making bank runs, taking their monies out the bank because they don't know if people are going to do a bank bail-in or not, right? So they're taking their, yes, they need to form a group to give each other emotional assistance. Wow. So people are taking their money out of the bank right now, all over the world, not just America. I was watching film that people were at, or recordings that people were recording from their phones in Ghana, in Nigeria, and different African countries where they were trying to get their money out the banks and the banks were turning them away. So for all of you that don't know, everybody probably knows Silicon Valley Bank had an issue where They were collapsing, but I heard they did a bail-in. Somebody bailed them out. I'm not a bail-in, but a bailout. At first, they said they weren't getting any bailouts, but I had Andy Scheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, on my podcast on Rumble last Tuesday, and he did affirm that they did indeed get a bailout. And so I asked them, how do we prepare for a time like this when bank after banks, they're collapsing? I believe they said, I can't remember, there were like dozens of banks that had collapsed in America, and more banks had collapsed worldwide. So how do you prepare? And what Andy Scheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin, encouraged was you get food right now. Okay, you have enough food stored in case there is a supply chain interruption or in case something gets shut down. You never know what's going to happen. You get food, you get a way to protect your family, you store water, you get supplies, batteries, toilet paper, blankets, anything that you think you may need for several weeks. If you can, do what you can. And this is where family comes in and community comes in, because you work with your family and the people in your community to store the things that you might need. Why? Because as these banks collapse, and they will continue to collapse, and these corporations shut down, people are going to become irate. Some people may take to the streets. Some people, if indeed they see some hanky-panky or nefarious activities going on with their retirement accounts, which your retirement accounts are stocks, okay? If they see that happen, somebody messing with their retirement, they're going to get angry and take to the streets. At least that's what we saw historically happen. So be proactive and be prepared by having food, water, clothing, equipment, a way to protect your family. You need some dollars, some cash on hand, because you might need to do some bartering or buying something at stores that are open. You need some coins on hand. Of those who can't afford it, you will need some silver. You may need some silver in case people say, yeah, I know you have a need, but I'm not taking no dollars. I'm not taking fiat greenback dollars. It's worthless. But they do recognize silver as money. Silver and gold are lawful money. It's constitutional money according to the Constitution for the United States, our republic. According to Article 1, right, Section 10, the only thing that may be utilized as money according to our republic is silver and gold. So keep checking in, family. I just desire for you to be ready and prepared. So having said that, please remember to follow me on Rumble. You can go to rumble.com and type in Dr. Kia Pruitt. And I also have that link in the description section. I may delete some of my channels, some of my podcasts or videos from this channel and start a second one. But all of my videos are on Rumble because they're so sensitive right now. You say a certain word that upset them, they'll put a strike on your channel or they'll delete the video. And when they put a strike on your channel, you can't upload. That means you're not getting money. So that was 2 weeks of not having money. However, the Creator has always taken care of me and continues to take care of me. And so I thank him and he or she, and I thank you all as well. So that's that. I am on Rumble. I am on Truth Social. I am on Twitter. And I'm streaming live on Twitter now. I'm streaming live on Rumble right now, on Facebook at Dr. Kia Pruitt, and also from here on YouTube. So let's get on with more news. Many of you know, thank you so much. Many of you know that number 45 is under the scope right now, under the, what do they call it? A micro, what you call that little thing? What did my kids call that little thing that Inspector Gadget has, and he's looking under it? He's under a microscope right now, and they are trying to, put him in a clink, right? The thing about that is, people keep asking me, aren't you worried? You should be upset if you're a patriot, and I can't believe if they'll do that to him, they'll do that to us. I'm not worried one bit. I find it laughable. honestly, because when you know the script or they've shown you the script and told you it was going to happen, you're not worried. We already knew, a lot of us in the intel community or in this movement knew that he might be arrested. Actually, they told us that he would be. And so they told us to stay calm. So it's all a part of the script. I don't know how they're going to flip it. Maybe some of you know how they're going to flip the script, but they will flip the script. If you go to the Oversight Committee website, you will see that actually 46 is under investigation, and his entire family, and that the Speaker of the House and also the Chairman of the Oversight Committee are investigating 46 and the family in detail. So a lot of things are happening right now. People are actually rallying and protesting because 45 might go to the clink clink. But if you study the 48 Laws of Power and The Art of War, and you've read it, you know that both of those books, and as well as military law, talks about how you are supposed to make people, think that you're dumb, make them think that you're stupid, make them think that you are helpless, you're powerless. And then what? Then when they underestimate you, you strike out, you lash out, and you do what number 45 is going to do. Keep in mind that on 8/8/2022, which was the Lionsgate, that's when that three-letter organization actually investigated his home, remember? And that was on the Lionsgate. On that date, I said he knew they were coming. It happened on this date for a reason. They do everything according to numerology. 8/8/2022 is the number that they tell you to text at his rallies. So it's not a mere happenstance or accidental coincidence that his home was investigated or raided on 8/8/2022. And what I said on that date, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can look for my video on that date, which is about 7 months ago, on August 8th, 2022. I said, he is being investigated because he knew it would happen. He's allowing it to happen on the Lion's Gate because the Lion's Gate is a portal. The ancients have always acknowledged it as a portal or a doorway where you're going out with the old, in with the new. And I said, it is a time for we as people to come out roaring like a lion, declaring our victory and power. And this, my darlings, is what you're about to see if and when he goes to the clink clink. Okay, so it is hammer time for us. We're encouraged. We already know that the creator is in control and that things are going to work out on our behalf. Okay, so we're about to see a great big comeback. They're probably taking the focus off 46. We're about to see a big comeback of number 45. You know this. I know this, but a lot of people in the world do not know this. A lot of people who are not yet awakened, or they may not follow the intel, they don't know yet, but we do. So we're about to experience darkness completely leaving and us going from darkness to light. And this time period right now, the new year is very significant. So yesterday was the beginning of spring. It is a new year. So happy new year. We're entering into a whole new season. You're about to hear more information come out that people have kept kind of behind the scenes. You're likely to hear an emergency broadcast system announcement come out very soon. People are talking about the rates be increasing in terms of a revaluation of currencies. So I'm going to show you this exciting video that I discovered. I think it was early this morning. And it talks about how the Iraqi dinar rate has increased to over $6, almost $7. So I'm probably going to end with that. You'll celebrate. What did you say? Oh, you'll celebrate his advocates being arrested. Absolutely. What? He served eviction papers. Yes, we're awakened. I am back, sister. Yes, I am. So I want to show you this video, but I also want to let you know, family, that once people started making bank runs, when the banks started collapsing, a lot of people took their money out of the banks and rolled it over into precious metals. They got into silver and gold. And when I brought Andy Schectman, the CEO of Miles Franklin, on last Tuesday, he said he's been busy like never before. He said that day before, that Monday, was the busiest day of his life and his business. Why? Because we've been waking up people for a long time to let them know that the dollar, especially him, he's been doing this for years. He and Big Swear from the Road to Ruta YouTube channel and website. But we've been talking about how the dollar's collapsing, how it lost 98% of its purchasing power. And during the global shutdown, they kept printing money. And when they kept printing money that's not backed by anything, the money continued to lose its value. After the global shutdown, when you saw Vladimir Putin dropped the United States dollar once 46 sanctioned him for going over to the ukulele and cleaning it out. When Vladimir Putin dropped the United States dollar as a great chess move and answer back to 46, number 46, that was significant, because what he said is that I don't regard you all as having financial and economic hegemony. You're not the leaders anymore. I'm not scared of you. You're not going to send a nuclear weapon over to me. I doubt it. So he dropped the United States dollar, and then Vladimir Putin led Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa to do the same. So those are the BRICS Union. And once the BRICS nations dropped the United States dollar, that was 40% of the global population that dropped the dollar. Well, we knew, those of us who have been following this for some time, that according to Project Sandman, when triggered, all 209 nations will drop the dollar. Putin was that trigger. He led the BRICS nations to drop the United States dollar, and that union became known as BRICS Plus. So that's 40% of the world that dropped the dollar. That meant that the dollars then came flooding right back into America. When they came flooding back to our country, they were even more useless. They had devalued even more. When the dollar or the greenback loses its value, precious metals increase or raise in value because it's lawful money. And when people see that the dollar is losing their value, they're going to rush to a safe haven. Thank you so much. Creator bless you. Oh, sister, I am so grateful. Mother Most High bless you with long life, peace, and prosperity. Thank you so much. People will look for a way to protect their savings. I'm not going to leave my money in the bank. I'll leave just enough in there to run my business. Business owners are saying, or I'll leave just enough in the banks to pay my bills. But any savings that I might have, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to store it somewhere safe. For a lot of people, that's silver and or gold or land or farmland or food, something that into which they can have a higher return on their investment. So once the BRICS nations left the United States dollar, that led a lot of Central American nations to do it, South American nations, Asian nations, African nations, people in Australia, on every single continent, country after country. And I do have videos where I list all of the countries that are documented as joining BRICS. I have a list of about 47 countries that are documented, but we know that all exporting nations now have actually behind the scenes dropped the United States dollar. But let's play along and just go with the ones that are documented. When Andy Schectman, who I brought on our platform months ago, announced those countries, and I came on as well and announced many of those countries, we saw that that was 80 to 85% of the global population that had dropped the United States dollar for trade. Country after country said, I'm not getting oil for dollars. I'm not trading anything for dollars. I'm using gold. And since Vladimir Putin led that charge, led everybody leaving, his Russian ruble became the highest performing currency in the world, the Russian ruble in 2022. You can look it up. The Russian ruble is the highest performing currency in the world. Why? Because when he dropped the United States dollar for trade and started trading with his own currency, the Russian ruble, backed by commodities, backed by gold, and he started using gold, his currency went up in value. It increased in value. Thank you, sister. Yes, you're so glad to see me. Thank you so much for the love and the light, sister. I love you so much. I appreciate you. God is good. You all are good. Thank you for your vibrations and your love and your emails and all for contacting Mark Z and saying, get Dr. Kia Prude on the phone. We miss her. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. So his Russian ruble was the highest performing currency in the world. Now, 80 to 85% of the world had then dropped the United States dollar, which meant more dollars were flooding into the United States, which further devalued our currency. But what most people don't know is there was a book that was written, a coloring book for children called Wishes and Rainbows. Please go to roadtoruda.com. I'm going to put that on there, Road to Ruda. If anybody had, I miss you too. Anybody have connections to Bixweir? And I might ask Andy Sheckman if he'll do this for me. And Bixie, if you're watching, that's what Andy calls you. Please come on my channel. Please, I beg thee. And teach us about Ruda's theory. So there was a book, a coloring book called Wishes and Rainbows. And Bixweir, who has his website is called roadtoruda.com. And he also has a YouTube channel called Road to Ruda, happened upon the Federal Reserve website. I can't remember if it was Chicago or which Pacific state that had Wishes and Rainbows on it, the coloring book and the teacher's guide. In the teacher's guide, it explains how the Federal Reserve knew that their time would be up and that they couldn't continue this charade of printing money that's backed by nothing. So according to the Ruda theory and his Wishes and Rainbows book, the Federal Reserve, the good faction of the Federal Reserve, the white hats within the Federal Reserve said, we will allow them to continue printing money and create a huge bubble, and then we'll allow the bubble to burst and then go back to sound money. So that's amazing to know this information, because I learned from Austrian economists, because some of you know that I did take some economic classes and I was actually working towards an MBA in economics, but I actually talked to economists who sell precious metals and economists who have taught me many things about finances, and my son's an economist. So economists know, Austrian economists know that at the end of every empire, they print up as much money as they can. They rack up the debts. Remember, Janet Yellen just said on January 19th, it was on a Thursday, 2023, that we've reached the credit limit, the debt ceiling. We've spent at least 31, I think she said, $1 trillion, which the truth is more like $100 trillion. We've reached that debt ceiling. And she said, we've got to take extraordinary and extreme measures to get out of this situation. And one of those measures is going into the retirement account of postal workers and government workers to rectify the debt. But remember, at the end of every empire, they rack up the debt, they print as much money as they can, and then they explode that system. They crash that system and they move to a sound monetary system. That's called a crack up boom. It's legitimate. And when I asked Andy Sheckman about this months ago, he said, yeah, it's true. That's what happens at the end of every empire. It's called crack up boom. So there's a link to the teacher's copy. Thank you, Cheryl. And if you go to roadtoruda.com on Bixweir's website, there's a link to the theory, to the Road to Ruda theory and Wishes and Rainbow coloring book. They have a teacher's copy on the website, and it will break down the codes, because the coloring book kind of is in codes. It talks about Ruda and how she doesn't have enough flowers to give to the people or something like that. And then she writes in the sand 9/11, and you see streams of gold on the coloring book. But the teacher's copy actually explains how they're going to spend up the money, print as much money they can, and then create a bubble, explode it, crack it, and boom, and then go to a sound monetary system. We see that happening. We also know that this is a Shemitah season. The Shemitah is a Hebrew word, a Hebrew phrase that means to release or let go. Shemitah it's at the end of a 7-year cycle. So when the children of Israel came out of Egypt or out of slavery and went into the promised land, the God of the Bible, or Yahweh, told them to count 7 years. At the end of that 7th year, at the end of the 7-year cycle, on that 7th year was to be a year of release, or the Shemitah means release or let go. That means at the end of the 7th year cycle, on the 7th year, you were supposed to set all the slaves free, forgive all debts, and release people, cancel their debts. It was a jubilee. But what these nefarious people did that were in power, instead of releasing us, was at the end of a 7-year cycle, they actually had a financial crash, a stock market crash, some type of financial crisis. This is why on September the 25th, during Rosh Hashanah, or the Hebraic Feast of Trumpets, I said we just came out of Elul 29, I think it is, the month Elul 29, the end of that Hebraic month, and we're going into or entering the Feast of Trumpets. Trump is in that word, trumpets. Trumpets sound an alarm. They make an announcement. They declare war, all those things. And it was Rosh Hashanah. I said, we're out of Elul. We're now into Tishrei. We're now into a new year, Hebraic year. And this is a Shemitah, the end of a Shemitah cycle. No, I said this is the beginning of a Shemitah cycle. We're in a 7th year cycle. We're in a Shemitah. And I said sometime between now, that was September 25th, 2022, and all throughout 2023 to the end of 2023, sometime between now and September 2023, you're going to see a stock market crash. You're going to see a great financial crisis, because history has proven itself. We can predict things by studying history. And I said, not only was I told this long ago, by people who were prompting me and encouraging me and educating me so I can take to my platform and educate as many people as I could, our soul family, do my part. They were sharing with me that this was going to happen, but we can also see it through history. And being Hebraic, understanding and overstanding the Feast of Trumpets and the Shemitah cycle, studying Hebrew, I knew that we were about to have a stock market crash, banking collapse, and all that. So it's happening. The stocks will continue to drop. Even if they seem to revive themselves, they will continue to drop. And we will have a stock market collapse. When that happens, everything will freeze. So remember, according to Project Sandman, it was an agreement between 209 nations, or 209 plus nations, behind the scenes, unbeknownst to everybody else, that when triggered, all these nations would drop the United States dollar. Then Jim Rickards said what you would see after that is that the dollar would plunge to zero, and all dollar denominated assets will plunge to either near zero or plunge completely to zero. And then you will have a ICE 9 scenario, which means everything will freeze. Your ATM cards may not work. Your EBT cards may not work. Your any type of cards, credit cards, they may freeze once the financial system collapses. ICE 9 scenario, Jim Rickards. History says that a Shemitah cycle, you'll have a financial crash, a stock market crash, a collapse of the system. It will freeze temporarily. Then we will go to a new system that many of us are calling the quantum financial system. But what's going to happen in the interim between the freeze and a reboot of a system or a new system and going to a sound monetary system? We don't know because we've never been here before, or at least I've never been here before. And this is why we're saying get food, get water. You might have a supply chain interruption. People might take to the streets, have some protection. Invest in your family. That's my message. Get your wife, your husband, I did a video called hide your husbands, hide your wives, hide your children. Bring everybody under your covering, your children's mom, your children's father, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your elderly people, your aunt, not your ancestors, but your elders. Bring them under your covering and make sure everybody is safe and protected, because we don't know what's going to happen during this freeze or ice nine scenario if it happens. So it may not happen, but it probably will. Be prepared. My grandmother always said it's better to have too much than not enough. Better to be safe than sorry. So stock up. If you have retirement accounts, some people are saying your retirement is safe. A lot of people are saying the money in the banks are safe. That is mirrored on a quantum financial system. It may be. But what happens when everything freezes and you can't go online and see what you have? Or what happens in a worst case scenario that your money is not mirrored on a quantum financial system, which I think they will do that. But what happens even in the interim when people can't see it mirrored on the new system because it hasn't been rebooted yet? Okay, people will take to the streets and they will become angry. This is why we need to learn how to barter and how to do business with one another. You do my hair. People said I had nice hairdo. Thank you. You do my hair for me, and I will provide you with seeds. You watch my children for me so I can go to work. You educate my children so that I can do my gardening. I'll give you some of my tomatoes from my garden if you can work on my car. Speaking of car, fill up your gas tank, because you just don't know. Always be safe. We said this for years, anticipating a Black Swan event before they shut down the whole world, and we looked crazy. But the preppers were telling me, you're right. We've been saying this way longer than you. We've been saying prepare, prepare, prepare. The people who hadn't prepared were caught off guard, and they were at the stores in long lines, and some of them didn't make it to the stores. Be proactive and be prepared. So Ice nine scenario could happen where everything freezes. So be proactive and make sure you're prepared. So when the dollar collapses, all dollar denominated assets will plunge to zero or near zero along with it. Then we will crash that system and move to a new financial system. Now, during the Shemitah, you were supposed to release people. You were supposed to let them go, have a jubilee. You were supposed to actually cancel all debts. And so that kind of reminds you, thank you, Robert, get your house in order, family. That kind of reminds you of Nasara. You have to even be careful. If you mention Nasara and Jasara, sometimes social media will flag you because they don't want you talking about that. But this reminds you of the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, or the global version. They're going to do with this, what they're going to do with Mr. T, we'll see. It reminds you of the global version as well, this Shemitah, this letting go, release, and canceling debts, because Nasara and Jasara are supposed to cancel debts worldwide, as well as return us to our republic, our lawful governments, and restore us or return us to lawful money, because gold and silver are recognized as money all across the globe. All these wonderful things are supposed to happen. This was supposed to be announced during a Shemitah on 9/11. Nasara and Jasara. This announcement was supposed to come from the Pentagon. Instead, these nefarious beings did a financial collapse. They staged what you all know happened. They took the gold out of the towers, and some people didn't show up for work. Those people who knew it was going to happen, they imploded the towers. They sent a CGI or something into the Pentagon from which the announcement was to come, and they did some horrendous things and caused a lot of people to be hurt or to lose their lives. And then they blamed it on our Middle Eastern brothers and sisters, when in fact, the nefarious people in power did this. The so-called elite or elites did this to us. So we were supposed to actually have a releasing, a letting go, or Shemitah during that 9/11. You can look at the end of the 7th-year cycle ever since the children of Israel came out of Egypt and look and see what they've historically done. They've had a financial collapse, a market collapse, a housing collapse of some sort every 7th year. The furthest I went back most recently, because I've looked back over the course of the last couple of years, last year. But the furthest I went back in depth was during the Depression, and I saw that the Depression, we actually had a market collapse, a stock market crash, and you all know about the Great Depression. 7 years later, we had an event. 7 years later, all the way up to even 2001. 9/11, 2001, we had that financial collapse, and we had the World Trade Towers, whatever, and that CGI plane sent into the Pentagon. That was on a Shemitah cycle, the end of the 7th-year cycle, 2001. Then 7 years later, 2008, we had a financial crisis. Then 2015, we did. And then here we are between 2022 and 2023. You will see a stock market collapse and a crash of some sort. But we will have a Shemitah. Take my word for it. God's word is true. We will have some type of cancellation of debts and some type of release and letting go. This is why you have 43 states now. I think Mississippi was the 43rd state. 43 states that have released the taxes from the sales of precious metals, because when you release or remove taxes from the sales of precious metals, then you are identifying and acknowledging precious metals as real money. So they're preparing us to return back to the use of gold and silver as money. This is also why you see the IRS telling people not to file their taxes. They don't have the money. They're bankrupt. They're gone. The headquarters at the IRS the building is empty, just like the other 3-letter organization headquarters. They're empty. They don't have any money. This is also why the Republicans have stated that they are attacking the IRS. And what they have done actually is defunded the IRS. The $80 billion that the Democrats gave the IRS to hire CIs or criminal investigators who were trained to shoot and delete us if we didn't pay our taxes, that 80-something billion dollars that the Democrats gave to them was retracted. The Republicans defunded them. The Republicans are also monitoring the CBDCs and saying that unless you get the public's agreement to go forward with this, you may not send CBDCs to an individual. So even if they did move forward with the central bank digital credit or whatever the CBDC is, we must find a way to decentralize our lives and decentralize our money. So that it doesn't matter if they have a CBDC, because we're not doing business with them anyway. We will use our silver, we will use our gold, we will use our constitutional money or coins that were minted before 1964, which cost little to nothing. We will go purchase that and we will use that to barter with one another. We will barter with our services and have the mechanics in our family or in our community to fix our cars and go around other people. You know, we don't have to have a credit card. What I'm saying to you is we can find a way. We must find a way to operate outside of the system. In the interim, in the meantime, we have very benevolent white hats of the military, white hats or benevolent people within every segment of our society fighting on our behalf. Until we achieve that victory, until we achieve the Shemitah, the letting go, until we achieve that release yourself. Set yourself free and operate outside of the system. So will 46 go to the Clink 45, excuse me, Mr. T, go to the Clink? We shall see. But trust, if it happens, they have a remedy. It's all a movie. It's all a show, and they're doing it for a reason. So take your emotions out of it. Sit back, enjoy the show if you are so inclined, or turn off the television and social media altogether. Get your family together. Get your house in order. Get your supplies. If you're able to get your silver and gold, or your pre-constitutional silver, your gold RM notes, which are just like $395, that's what is it, 24 karat gold pressed onto a note. If you have $0, you have yourself and you have your family and your community. Learn the gifts and the skills of everybody that you can that's within your realm of influence and in your community, so you can help one another. Now, since this banking collapse, gold has shot through the roof. In the last week, gold went up $106 within the last week. Yesterday, I reported that in the last 24 hours, gold has shot up $70. In a 24-hour period, $70 gold had gone up it was $1,999 per ounce. I think it's decreased a little bit now. Silver had only gone up $1.06, but that's still an increase. And silver at the time I reported was actually $22.91, so it was almost $23 per ounce. Why do we see gold and silver increasing? Because people are saying, I'm not trusting my money in the bank. I'm not even trusting the little savings that I have. Anything that I have that I don't want to spend or I want to protect, I'm going to put it in precious metals and silver and gold, because I'm less inclined to spend it if I'm saving it that way. And if I have a huge savings, I'm going to put it in something that I know that's a hedge against inflation. So when you have inflation, which continues to increase, the dollar continues to decrease in value, whereas precious metals increase in value. So again, when the dollar decreases in value, gold and silver, precious metals increase in value. You all know I'm an affiliate with Miles Franklin. That is not a secret. I am very adamant about that. I support Andy Schectman. He's a great businessman. He's been in business for 34 years now. He has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. He's never had one single complaint with the Better Business Bureau. He has excellent customer service. All of his employees are either family members or people with whom he's gone to school, including high school. And so he knows these people personally. You can email him info@milesfranklin.com. You can go onto Twitter and look up Andy Schectman or Miles Franklin. You can call him. I will leave you the number and let him know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, so you can get the best prices in the industry. And let him know, I'm interested in precious metals. I desire to protect my wealth, or I'm interested in rolling over my IRA into a gold IRA, or you might be interested in storage. I want to store my metals in a safe place and make sure it's insured. Or you might just want to ask, once you place an order, geopolitical questions, monetary questions, financial questions. His people are a resource of information. They're a resource that our channel, our soul family, has in our arsenal. And I'm most grateful to Andy Schectman and to all of his people at Miles Franklin for providing us with a wonderful service to make sure we're prepared for the future. Now, if you do not want to go online or email info@milesfranklin.com or call him, go to your local coin company. Google coin shop near me, coin collector near me, numismatics company near me. Do whatever you have to do and build a relationship with those people who sell precious metals in your community. Why? Because you might have questions. You can go right there and buy precious metals right now and take the precious metals in your possession. You might one day need to sell precious metals, God forbid, or exchange it for whatever currency that we're using. And, you might just want to know, why precious metals? Why are they in business? Why is their company legitimate? Do that, family, so that you can not only have this knowledge for yourself, but you can pass that information down to your children. My grandchildren love going to the local coin shop. They love looking at precious metals. And sometimes the people there, because they know my grandchildren, will give them little coins, for their collection. So this is valuable information. As Andy Schectman says, precious metals is wealth. So let's look briefly at what metals are doing now because what they say, gold has and silver has lasted through all world wars, through every single financial crisis, and it is money. Now, this has just happened to be APMEX is a company, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna also show you Miles Franklin's website. So gold is at $1,947.20. It's actually down $41. That's a buying opportunity for anybody who's interested in gold. Silver is $22.55 per ounce, and it's down 97 cents or about $1. So sometimes people get mad and they say, why is it going down? What's going on? Maybe you're not telling the truth, Dr. Pruitt, that precious metals is wealth. My answer to that is in every situation, look for the good, look for the positive. What is the universe asking of you or telling you? Perhaps the universe is letting you know that this is a buying opportunity. So, this is Miles Franklin's website. There's the 800 number right here. This is only an informational website. You cannot at this time purchase from the website because we're creating an interactive website where you'll be able to just go on my link and purchase silver and gold. But for information purposes, gold right now is 1,000 so sometimes they have to update the website. It's about $1,943, down $33. I'm not sure which website is the most up to date. And then silver is $22.50. That's a value. Years ago, I remember when I first started getting serious about silver and gold, when I first purchased it, and this was just a few years ago, silver was actually $14 per ounce. And then soon after that was $17 an ounce. Now, this was just a couple years ago. Now it's $22.50. You see how precious metals are increasing in value. Yes, Basel, what she said? Basel IV started January the 1st. That's right, 2023. Basel III compliance was a few years before that, where they had to acknowledge gold as a tier 1 asset. A tier 1 asset just basically means that now they had to acknowledge gold as money. And if you all remember, not only did banks have to become Basel III and Basel IV compliant, where they had to acknowledge gold as money, but central banks started hoarding gold. Remember that? We reported that. And as a matter of fact, in Q3, what happened in 2022 was that banks bought records amounts of gold. Central banks bought 400 tons of gold that we know of. That's what was recorded, in excess of $23 billion, at the least about $23 billion. That's what was recorded. Plus, they had secret whales that bought up more gold and hoarded more gold that went unreported. There's a reason why these banks are Basel III compliant, acknowledging gold as money or as a tier 1 asset, and a reason why central banks are hoarding gold. There's also a reason why you have African nations, not like Zimbabwe and Ghana, announcing that they're actually minting their own gold coins. And I believe Venezuela did the same. So they're preparing us for a return to the gold standard. Do you all remember the article? The world is hurtling back towards gold as money. For all of those people that think we're just making this up, family, and they say that we're never returning to the gold standard or to gold as money, keep in mind that we've been saying this for many years. Andy Schectman from Miles Franklin has been saying this way longer than I have. And people called him crazy. But now, and Big Swear has been talking about the road to Ruta theory and how they would print up the money, spin up the credit, then explode that system and go to a sound monetary system. This is what the Wizard of Oz was about. Follow the yellow brick road. Remember, Dorothy in the original script had silver slippers as she was easing on down the road, following the yellow brick road. Silver and gold. They changed it later to be ruby red slippers. But now we see it coming out in mainstream news. I guess you can call this article mainstream. But one of my best friend, She's my cousin, actually called me from Cleveland, and she said, "You know what? You used to talk about silver and gold, and I'll be darned, I turn on MSNBC News." She said, "And I usually don't watch the news anymore because it's too crazy." And they were talking about gold and silver. She said, for them to talk about it on mainstream news, she said, "I'll be darned, Kia was right. She been told us about this. She's been saying this." So they are talking about it. Look at this. This is kingworldnews.com. The world is hurtling back toward gold as money. February the 16th, a month ago, 2023. It says the consequences of Russia and her Asian allies embracing gold backing for their currencies are poorly understood. They're understood in Western capital markets. This move could lead to the destruction of the global fiat currency system. According to evidence, which is widely ignored in Western capital markets, a move by Russia, remember I told you Vladimir Putin was the trigger to cause all nations to drop the United States dollar and go towards gold as trade. And I've been saying this for a few years now, but now we see the evidence. A move by Russia to put a new trade settlement currency and possibly the ruble as well onto a new gold standard is becoming a certainty. Notice the wording, becoming a certainty. By the time they report things to you, it has already happened. As a matter of fact, I presented articles in 2018 where Vladimir Putin had said that Russia was returning to the gold standard. And so he finally did it. As a weapon of mass fiat currency destruction, the timing is probably bound up in the on-ground military considerations, which are already showing signs of escalating in that region over there that starts with the UK and ends with the RAINE. As well as using gold to undermine the Western currency system, a return to a credible gold standard has significant advantages for Russia and for her allies in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Eurasian Economic Union, BRICS Plus, because now it's called BRICS Plus, and all their commodity suppliers beyond Asia. At the same time, it will destroy the West fiat currency and financial system. Yes, it is destroying the fiat currency system, but we're preparing also to return to the gold standard, which is why our banks have gold, which is why our banks also had to become Basel III and Basel IV compliant. And it's also the reason why the Republicans, and I've presented articles on this, are saying that they're fighting against the CBDCs, or the central bank digital currency. That's one world, new world, NWO currency that's supposed to surveil the American people. In the articles that the Republicans are retorting or speaking out against the CBDCs, they actually say that it is unlawful to surveil the American people and that they will not allow that. They will fight against it, and that they will not allow the CBDC to move forward without we, the people, giving our agreement, giving our consent. Remember, a lot of these things are able to happen because we continue to give our consent, whether we're complicit because, we feel like we're forced, or we just do it by tacit agreement. That's still consent. So we have to fight against it and create our own system. So the whole world is hurtling back towards gold as money. I'm not sure how long it'll be in place. If it's, yes, thank you, Lonnie, I'm back. Huntington Bank will not be CBDC. That's awesome. So silver and gold are lawful money. So again, you can contact Miles Franklin, info@milesfranklin.com. I will find his phone number for you too and put it in the description section. I used to know it right off. But you can email him, let him know that you're interested. They will send you, one of his brokers will send you a list of inventory and prices, or you can do it like I do. I'll call up my broker and say, "Hey, Justin, guess what? This is how much money I want to spend. What do you recommend? This is all I got. The sister don't have a lot of money. They try to hold my money back. YouTube gave me a strike and unemployment didn't want to pay me, but this is what I have. What can I get? What are the best prices? What do you recommend? He'll send me a price sheet as well, and he'll send me the inventory. But sometimes I just say, can we just cut through the chase? This is how much I have. How, this is what I want. Give me some good suggestions. And you can go from there, or you can go to your local coin company, your local coin shop. So, yes, I'm back, family, and I'm so excited. Somebody said, have your metals in your hand, because the old saying goes, the old principle says, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Sometimes you have too much to hold. Somebody had asked Andy Sheckman from Miles Franklin a question, and they asked him, where can I hide it? He was like, you can put it under your ground, dig a hole in the ground, put it in the walls, put it in a chest with locks on it, put it somewhere safe where nobody would know, put it in a tree. I don't care. Just have it. So sometimes you can do that. Other times you might have so much. I know some people, well, I've heard of some people that have rolled over their IRAs, or taken some of the money out of their IRAs or their retirement accounts, their 401ks or their 403bs. By the way, some people will say, I don't have stocks and bonds, but if you have a retirement account, those are stocks. So for the most part, but maybe for the whole part. So yeah, and most of us are invested some kind of way in the stock market. Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, they do offer a program where they can store it for you, and it is insured. But if you can, have it in your possession, because if you don't hold it, they say you don't own it. Yeah, if you have 401k in metals, that's a whole lot of metals. You might not want to hold that. And so when you roll it over to a gold IRA, some of that gold or silver you'll be able to take into your possessions as well. So the banks have been manipulating precious metals for years, and JP Morgan admitted to manipulating the markets. They had to pay a fine. They admitted it. Some people were even put in the Clink or put in jail for it. So my point here is to encourage you to prepare, to be proactive, get everything you need in your possession, especially your family. Make sure they're protected. Make sure they're under your covering. Make sure if you have children that are away, or grandbabies or family members away, and they cannot come under your covering, make sure they have supplies in their home so they can prepare for what is to come. Now, somebody says that Trump was the CEO of the corporation and a CEO of America. He abolished the corporation and the debt, and he brought America back. I just recently saw an article that said that number 45, is now the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Now, I didn't bring that up, but I'll show it to you shortly. So, yes, JP Morgan actually admitted to spoofing. As you all continue to, thank you, to chat with one another, I'm going to see if I can find an article for you. Welcome back. Get gold and silver and brass to cover your word that rhymes with brass. Things might get a little bit interesting, family, if 45 goes to the Clink, but please keep in mind that the Patriots are in control. Remember that article that I just showed you, that the whole world is rushing back to gold. Some people call it hurtling back to gold. However you see it, they're going back or returning back to gold. Now, what I'm trying to do is find that article for you that actually says that 45 is the CEO of the Federal Reserve. And if I can't find it now, I will put it in the description section for you, because I just thought it was interesting. And I want you to see some of the things that I see when I get some of these messages in my inbox. People send me different things. Oh, here it is. Yes, here it is. Let me see if I can bring this up for you. 1 minute. It says, breaking, meet the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, DJT. Patriots are in full control. But let me see if I can go to the link. And I'm going to get to the good news about the Iraqi dinar. But first, let's look at this article right here. Thank you for your patience, family. I won't be on much longer. I've been away for so long. I just wanted to share the information that I do have. Here it is. Some people consider this as a good news source, a reputable news source. Some don't. It's called beforeitsnews.com, and it is political and geopolitical. This came out yesterday. Breaking: meet the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, DJT, Patriots in Full Control. I'm going to send you this link so that you can actually look at those videos for yourself. I don't think they didn't, it wasn't a written article. It was an article with videos on it. And it talks about how they consider, oh, here it is, why they consider him to be in control. So, breaking: meet the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, Donald J. Trump. Patriots in full control. 45 will not return as the president of the bankrupt U.S. corporation, as somebody just said, but rather the commander in chief, or the, let's say, Esident Prey. I had to speak in pig Latin because you never know what they're going to do. The commander in chief of the new republic of the United States. So he'll be the president of the republic. In this new American republic, we the people have all the power. There's no federal income tax, and America returns to the gold standard. They keep confirming us, y'all. It's time to take back our country and return power back to we the people. We're witnessing the greatest worldwide military intelligence sting operation. As a caveat, please follow Derek Johnson. I believe he is on Telegram, and look at social media and look for Derek Johnson, because he served in the military and he always talks about military law. Every scenario was planned for. We're witnessing the greatest worldwide military intelligence sting operation of all time. Every scenario was planned for. Every detail was accounted for. The storm has finally arrived. We're at the final stages of the war. It had to be this way to safeguard certain things. The NWO people, criminals, partner with corrupt politicians, the propaganda media, big tech, big corporations, and Hollywood and entertainment industry to destroy our great nation. Speaking of big corporations, a lot of them will crumble. That's why I'm saying get supplies on hand while you can, and prepare to farm, grow your own food, clean your water, get your humanitarian projects together too, because on this coming Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to put this, by the way, I'm going to put this article in the description section, but I need to wrap up because we're almost at an hour and 30 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. On this Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Gold Star Mother Susan Price and I will be on from all platforms. Thank you so much, family, for all of your gifts. Thank you, Sister Linda. I appreciate you. May the Creator bless you with prosperity and peace. I am so grateful for your monetary gift. On this Thursday, bring your pencil and paper, your questions, your humanitarian project ideas, and an outline, because Gold Star Mother Susan Price will teach you how to outline a humanitarian project. She'll teach you how to write it. She'll teach you how to present it to the financial people when you go to exchange your currencies. If they ask if you have a humanitarian project, you want to be able to present something that is quick, and you might even have on hand something detailed just in case. Gold Star Mother Susan Price actually paid to go through a program to teach you how to do a humanitarian project. She's going to come online and teach us what she learned and not charge us one penny, family. So bring your humanitarian ideas, bring your questions, bring your pencil and pad, your pen, whatever, and be prepared Thursday. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the 23rd at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that she can help us with our humanitarian ideas and projects. And then we're going to come back a few days after that. We haven't gotten a date after Thursday, and we're going to share. Everybody's going to, whoever wants to, share their ideas of their humanitarian projects, and we can tweak them together. So we give thanks and reverence and honor to Gold Star Mother Susan Price, who is a mother of a fallen soldier, Aaron Kennefect, a Marine who actually lost his life while he was on a secret mission fighting for our freedoms, and killed by the military industrial complex. So she is a Gold Star mother who gathers people together like you and me, and does some networking and help us to prepare for what is to come in the future. So we give thanks for her. Thank you so much. The Creator bless you. I'm so honored to have you all with me to share in a monetary blessing. Thank you so much. 88 sexy ass. May the Creator bless you with prosperity and peace. I love you so much. That's this Thursday, the 23rd, 2023 at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to talk about humanitarian projects. I don't know if it's safe to keep your money in the banks. I only leaving enough there to pay bills. That's it. So I think it's up to each individual, because some say that money is mirrored on a quantum financial system. Some people are concerned that they could do bail-ins. Some people say the money is safe. So some people have taken the money out and put it in their own possession, or they put it in land, or they've put it in precious metals. So I will have to leave that up to your own discretion. You are more than welcome. Hello, Sister Donna. Hello, all my friends and family members. Now you want to know about the dinar. Thank you, Tora Pera. I appreciate you so much. The Creator bless you with prosperity and peace. I love you all so much for being here, for sharing your love, for sharing your monetary blessings with me. May you have joy, prosperity, and peace, and may all your wishes and dreams come true. So somebody just asked me about the dinar. How is there different claims of the dinar value online? Because people can only report that from the information that they have. So some people have more information than others, and so they share what they have, and that goes for a lot of intel. People do the best they can for the most part, and they share information only based on what they've read, what they've heard, and what they've researched. So some people can't handle the truth. We'll see. So that's why. Having said that, family, I'm about to show you this 3-minute video about the Iraqi dinar value allegedly increasing so that you can have it, and I will put it in the description section. Remember, in the meantime, if you are interested in precious metals, then please go to info@milesfranklin.com, because our interactive website is not quite up yet. We're still working on it. Go to, I love you too, JD. Go to info@milesfranklin.com and ask for a list of their inventory and prices, and ask them, you might even ask them, what's your recommendation? I have this amount of money to spend, or what's your recommendation? What kind of coins do you have? And let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, because Andy Scheckman promised that he would give us the best prices in the industry over here. So I'll be streaming on Thursday from YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, and both of my Facebook accounts. I have a professional Facebook account at Dr. Dr. space KIA space Pruitt, Pruitt, and then I have a personal Facebook account that's DRKIA, like it's one word. It looks like Drakia, DRKIA space Pruitt. I'm also on Telegram. I'm on Truth Social. I am on Twitter at Sister Counselor, or you can just type in Kia Pruitt. It'll probably come up, or Dr. Kia Pruitt. It should come up. And I'm streaming from there right now. So on Thursday, I will stream from all of those platforms. Even if you don't find me live, I will put up the recorded version, at least on Truth, on all of them, but also on Truth Social. So the link on that article, which article? Somebody says that Miles Franklin was awesome to work with. Greg was the best. So Greg must be your broker. Justin is mine. They're all so good. Thank you for sharing that testimony. So here we go, family. We're going to talk about the Iraqi dinar. Remember to go to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt sent you. Drop the link for DJT. What about him allegedly going to the Clink? Okay, anything I discussed today, I will put a link in the description section. If I forget, put it in the comment section, okay? And say, you promised to give us this link. Okay, I'll do that. I'll show you that link. And also keep in mind that years ago, I think it was 2011, but years ago, I can't remember what year exactly, Donald Trump actually accepted gold bars from APMEX, which is a precious metals company, but they rented one of the floors of his towers, and he accepted gold for rent. And he was telling us, he said in the article, who knows, maybe one day we'll all go to using gold. And he was trying to let people know that he was preparing us for the gold standard. So somebody says they prefer calling their own broker at Miles Franklin. You still prefer calling your broker? I would just use the website to look. I enjoy the conversation with my broker. Me too. I love talking to my broker, asking questions, and also it just gives it a personal touch. You know, somebody that you do business with, and you do business with them often. Every time you order a little bit at a time if you don't have a lot of money, and just set your intention. So years ago I said I would like to have this much, you know, and even if I didn't reach that goal, I kept that goal in mind and I wrote it down and I kept moving towards it. So do what Andy does. He promised his dad, because his dad told him when he was 19, we're going to start this business, but you must promise me that every 2 weeks, this is Andy Sheckman, the CEO now of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, that his dad started. Every 2 weeks, you must buy a certain amount of precious metals. And Andy, who is now has been in business for 34 years, add 34 plus 19, you get to see how long he's been doing it, how old he is. He said he has bought precious metals every 2 weeks. He kept his promise to his dad. So that's it, family. Follow me on Rumble at Dr. Kia Pruitt, in case my channel gets shut down, because I'm going to keep telling the truth, but at least you know you can follow me. And in my conclusion, I'm going to bring you this video that talks about the Iraqi dinar. I've already started it for you. This here is Bobby King. Bobby King reports on the Iraqi dinar. More people now in the Middle East and different countries are starting to report on the Iraqi dinar. This is just educational or entertainment information for you to research on your own. We know that Al Sudani, who is the premier or prime minister of Iraq, stated at the end of last year in November that he was going to end endemic corruption. He was going to work with other countries to return his stolen money, which money is gold, and he was going to revalue the Iraqi dinar against the United States dollar. Shortly after that, he reinstated the dinar to its normal value, which was something like $3.61 or 81 cents, something like that, $3.61 or $3.81. I can't remember. We reported on that. Then we reported the next increase that he did. We also reported when he told his country to stop trading and stop using the United States dollar, to trust in their own currency, because he was revaluing the currency, he said, and he wanted to restore faith in their currency. So now we have other people coming out to talk about the Iraqi dinar. I'm about to end, family. Go and make this a great day. But before we end, I'm going to mute this video. And I ask that you please, if you can hear it, I'm going to mute it on my end, but turn it on for your end. If you can hear it, please put yes in the chat box. And if you cannot hear it, put no, so I can know that, you know, I need to adjust the volume. So I'm starting at the 31 second mark, and I'm going to end at the 3-minute mark. So here you go. I love you, family. Take a good listen to excitement over the Iraqi dinar, $6.80. We shall see. This is Bobby King reporting on his YouTube channel just 6 hours ago.
In today's video, we are going to be exploring excitement over dinar rate. Yes, very good information today. As you know, in my videos, I try my level best to give you the most recent update of Iraqi dinar. I have been looking forward to sharing this information with you. So sit back, relax, let's start this information. The world of currency trading is buzzing with excitement as some substantial Iraqi dinar rate are bouncing around the screens. Reports suggest that rate as high as $6.80 are being seen. While it is unclear if this rate is real or a simple a placeholder. Similarly, The Vietnam's dong is also showing up at over $4 regularly. While the same caveat applies, we don't know if these rates are real or not. Despite the uncertainty around these rates, the overall movement seems to be in favor of Iraq and its a new government. Over the last few days, we have seen several positive developments in Iraq that suggest that the country is on the path to stability and prosperity. One of the most significant developments in the approval of three-year budget by the Iraqi parliament. This is a crucial step towards ensuring that the country's finances are stable and predictable, which in turn can help attract foreign investment and create jobs. Another positive development is the agreement between Kurdistan and the federal government of Iraq. These agreements, which cover several important issues such as oil revenue sharing and security agreements, is a crucial step towards resolving the long.
So I just wanted to share that information with you, family. I hope and I trust that I've said something, anything that was encouraging, something that will raise your vibrations and inspire you and encourage you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. So I've missed you all too, family. Somebody said I need to start vetting my sources. As I said, if you're talking to me, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. You can do your own research and use your own discernment. So anything that I show here is just for you to use it as a starting point. I've been doing this for many years. If you have better sources or other sources, send it to me. Put it in the description section, put it in the comment section. I will gladly look over it. Thank you so much. Or you can, report from your channel and tag me so I can see it, so I can learn from you. So I love you all so much. Thank you for listening to me. Oh, thank you. Sister Cynthia says Aaron was here. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Aaron, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry, Sister Cynthia. I know you're gonna talk to me later. This is all I have for you. I appreciate you all so much. I'm doing my best, family. But if you have more information that you desire for me to share, please send it to me. It would be my great pleasure. Or if you have something you need to talk about or would like to share, send me an email, kiapruitt@gmail.com, or put a comment in the comment section and you come on and share your wonderful information that you have with us, because we're all in this together. That's it for now. I love you, family. We've been on now for 1 hour and 42 minutes. Woo! I love you. Peace. Take care, family. Bye for now. And remember, follow me on Rumble in the event that something happens to this channel. And if you are interested in getting, thank you. I love you too. If you are interested in getting precious metals, you know what to do, right? Email info@milesfranklin.com. Ask them for their inventory, ask them for their prices. You might even ask your broker, thank you, sister, for some recommendations. Or if you're interested in rolling over your IRA into a gold IRA, or you might be interested in storage, contact Andy Scheckman. He'll be here next week, probably on Tuesday. And remember, put it on your calendar, Thursday, the 23rd of this month, in 2 days at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have Gold Star Mother Susan Price to come on to show us how to create our humanitarian project. So I love you all so much. Peace, family. Bye for now. Make this a great day.